by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another edition of Coffee Time with Blind United. So everybody knows I'm Ed, and I got Brittany with me this morning. Good morning, Britt.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, you sounding full of energy this morning. I'm sorry I don't have all that energy like you, but I wish I was as young as you. But anyway, we got Brother George with us this morning. So good morning, George. Well, now he don't want to talk to us.
He doesn't.
I have my mic on. Sorry. Hey, how you doing?
So anyway, Britt's going to tell you about the interest group we got today, and then we'll move on into some conversation.
I think Britt had too many cannolis this morning.
Maybe that's what it is. But you guys, guess what? Okay, so today Andy is going to be teaching us how to use the Zumo streaming box. And so this is a streaming box that Spectrum uses. You could download the Spectrum app on it and you can watch all your Spectrum channels. And then you can also put like Disney Plus or Netflix or whatever on it. So basically it's a streaming box and it's supposed to be fully accessible. So Andy's going to teach you how to turn on the screen reader, how to use the voice commands. He's going to teach you guys how to do all of that. So we're going to hang out in Andy's living room tonight at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Well, that's cool. All right. I didn't know they had a box. What is it called?
It's a Zumo streaming box.
A Zumo streaming box. Okay.
So it sounds almost like it could be, like a Fire Stick or a Roku or...
Yeah. Basically, it's about the same size as like an Apple TV. Because my grandparents, they've bought them because they're cheaper than renting out the cable boxes through Spectrum. So a lot of people are getting those instead of the big ass cable boxes that are expensive.
Well, not only that, but if you don't have a smart TV, you can't hook up your TV to the internet. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a win-win, it really is. They're pretty cool. Do you what cable company do you have, George, or do you not have cable?
A Spectrum. We got Spectrum, but we have the box. We have the DVR, the recorder that my wife, she loves that. She records all her shows, and then we have an extra box in the bedroom, and then the other TV. Now we don't, but yeah, right now our bill runs $212.
Yeah, no, that's about how much mine is because I have the boxes, and I think those are like $15 a month, and then I've been thinking about getting rid of my boxes, but the sighted people who visit occasionally seem to like them, so I'll keep them.
No, I hear you. See, my wife is thinking of getting rid of me, so never mind. I don't want to bring that up.
Well, I mean, again, hey, come on out and check it out. I know he said that we had some time after demonstrating that box. He was going to talk about some other stuff he's got going on in his living room. So come on out at 6 o'clock tonight and see what Andy got going on for everybody. Might be a great alternative to doing the cable box thing. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
but the cable, like Andy was saying, that the cable boxes are accessible too, and I've seen that. But like, with me, I just use the Spectrum app, with my phone, and I just kind of use my phone as a remote. But then again, I don't really watch TV like that. But the rare occasions, like when I want to see the debate or the Democratic convention,
And for me, be honest with you, Miss Brit, the box is very accessible, or the voice command. I guess that's like not a voice command, the voice option, and it's
right.
cool because like if you change it to a football game, as you land on that station, it'll tell you like the score and the quarter.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty neat.
No, it is pretty cool. I mean, I think it's a great time to be a blind person. I don't particularly like being blind, but I just think, man, all this technology, everything is pretty much accessible. Most smart TVs have Android, so they have TalkBack. I mean, TalkBack's not my favorite screen reader, but it does the job.
Well, talking about accessible, just by chance, I don't know if do you have Facebook on your phone, Miss Brit?
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know what they did. An update. It had to have been from Sunday or something because now to edit, like to post something on Facebook, it is weird. Because for example, let's say I put the red dog,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I want to get rid of red. It it won't read it to me like it used to. Like it won't, and I'm like, what the hell? So I don't know what they did, but that Facebook, if you're Meta or whoever you're calling yourself, dude, fix that because it's annoying. It took me like maybe 5 minutes to do a post yesterday, which should took maybe a minute.
You know what I hate about these social media companies, and mainly Facebook is mainly the main one that I use. I stopped using Twitter a long time ago, but one of the issues is like it's like they fix it and then they break it and then they fix it and then they break it again, and I'm like, who decides this? Like if it's fixed, like keep it that way.
I think what it is, a lot of times the companies like Meta, they try to like improve their app experience, but yet when they do that, you're right, they break it. I mean, like, it's so good. Like, don't do this, and they come back and it's like Teams, the platform Teams. One point you can see all the buttons. Like hang up call. When you're in the meeting, but then there's sometimes you go in there. Guess what? A label button. A label button. A label. I'm like, really, folks? So it really depends. So.
Speaking of like Teams and what are we going to do with Zoom? I know that we were talking about doing some advocacy work in regards to that. So,
Nobody sent me any summaries.
Really?
Okay.
I mean, I put it out there for something for us to do as, a Blind United effort. And, I mean, we talked about it. Everybody sounded like everybody was with it, but nobody did
sent
it.
you nothing. No. And what Mr. Davis and Miss Britt are talking about, folks, is that Zoom in itself is not accessible when it comes to navigating. And then yesterday, or Friday, real quick on this subject too. So there's an issue with one of the websites being used here in El Paso through the county. So I sent a message to the person that's overseeing the project, and they're like, "Well, it's accessible for is 504 compliant for low vision and this and this." I'm like, how about blind people? People tend to forget that. Yes, I understand that the website has low contrast, high contrast. Big font, low font. That's cool, but those same websites are sometimes inaccessible for us who are blind, like me and Mr. Davis.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult because a lot of things that I've heard, it's like, oh yeah, well we have like high contrast, invert colors, bold font, underline links, or whatever, all this other stuff, and that's great. But if you're totally blind, or if you're somebody that uses a screen reader, that's pretty useless. But I think it's hard for people to comprehend that there are people who really see nothing, like nothing. That's
true.
Right. Well, and then also, I mean, in all of the thousands and thousands of cases that have gone through the system, Never once has a screen reader ever been introduced as in the evidence.
Huh,
So
that's funny.
I mean, a jury doesn't know how it works. A judge don't know how it works. All they're doing is here sitting there listening to one side argue their point, the other side argue their point, and nobody, again, the proof is not in the pudding. They're not.
I mean, Ed, I'm not a lawyer. I don't really know anything about any of this ADA stuff, but like, why has that not happened? Why hasn't a lawyer or judge said, "Hey, how does this screen reader work? Can somebody bring in a laptop or whatever and demonstrate why does it not work that way?"
I mean, I have no clue, Britt. I wish I knew. Again, I'm not a lawyer either. I mean, but
Money.
go ahead, Judge.
I think it's money. I mean, that what I say by money is because a lot of these companies, for example, you're right, Miss Britt and Mr. Davis. You know more of this than I do, but do a simple demonstration of how someone like me here in El Paso with the city, I'll tell them, and they're like, don't know. So I go, let's do this. Let's get on a Zoom call or a Zoom session, and I'll share my screen and I show them, and we go line by line. And they're like, oh, well, it says this. Well, you're hearing it, and then they get it. Like, oh, okay, and like what do we always say? They don't know because they haven't experienced it, right?
Right.
And I think that's what the problem is. A lot of these people say, well, it's accessible. Yeah, but that's a big word. I mean, is it really accessible? If it's like, for example, there's a news station here, and as soon as you land on the web page, on the very top it says high contrast, low contrast, and I'm like, oh wow, cool. But then you go to the very bottom, and guess what? A label button, a label button, a label button. I'm like,
right. Even once some of them things, like you said, they prompt you to turn on the accessibility features, and you turn them on, and they still don't make any changes for us that are totally blind. I mean, again, all the features are for those that are visually impaired, or whatever. And as Brittany, I'll go along with what she's saying as far as if you're a low partial to the point of where you need a screen reader, you're in the same boat as the totals. I mean, you just it doesn't help you out. I mean, if I had to guess why the data have not introduced a screen reader, I would think that the defendants, right, they would do everything they can to not want that to happen, because bottom line, there it is right there. We're doing a demo right in front of them. You know what I'm saying? That's like a nail in their coffin.
Yep. And to put this into context, folks, for those who are looking for employment, and excuse me, a lot of call centers, if you call them up, and we did this when I was when I had my termination, my wrongful termination suit many years ago, so I can speak on that now. So we reached out to different call centers, and then oh yes, we have accessible computers, So we checked two of them out. Yes, if you're low vision and you use Zoom or Zoom text, you're good. But if you're completely blind, there's a lot of links that are not labeled and buttons and whatnot, and that's the difference, folks. You have to understand that low vision and blind, yeah, people might put us in the same category, but in essence, it's kind of different. It is different because low vision means you have some vision. Sometimes you can see a TV or work on your phone in the background as we're talking and stuff like that. But the thing is, when you're blind, that's a totally different ballgame, right? Because we have to use what's dependent on the technology. And when the website's not embedded with APIs, we're dead in the water,
Exactly.
Like,
and in most cases, we are, in most cases, we are pretty much just dead in the water, as you say. I mean, because again, if it doesn't say what the button's for, if it doesn't say what the link is for, if we don't know what's in the graphic link, a lot of the navigation that pertains to using those features, and if there's nothing in the website, it's not built in the website for those things to be identified to us, then we don't know how to get to where we're going, because it's not labeled, it's not marked, it's not coded properly.
And then, which is telling me the other day, Mr. Oh, by the way, before I forget, we're live on the Facebook group for Blind United and the Facebook page and two other groups. So we're multi-streaming.
Awesome. I'm so
Thank you very
Anyway,
much.
I was going to tell you, Mr. Davis and Miss Britt, you might appreciate what the other day, me and Mr. Davis were talking, and he said, turn off the screen when someone doesn't understand. Turn off the screen and ask them to do it. For example, one time, when I was at the Department of Labor, my JAWS, it was like stuck. So I'm like, what the heck? So I called the IT guy, Carl, and I would call him a lot, so I guess he was upset. So he walks into the room, my office, and I'm like, hey, my JAWS is stuck. Well, there's a button right in the middle. Why don't you just click on it? I'm like, oh, there is a button. Okay, so I turn off my screen. Okay, where is it? Oh, I can't see it. Exactly my point. I can't see it, right? And JAWS is good, but sometimes there's pop-ups that JAWS doesn't see, quote unquote, right?
Right.
But like what you tell me the other day, Mr. Davis, turn off the screen.
Level the playing field.
Amen to that. Yes, sir. So
I think sometimes you gotta put it in that perspective for people, because I think people just can't comprehend. Like, it's right there. It's it's right there in the middle of the screen. You can't see it. Like, and you're trying so hard to explain it. I think sometimes the easiest way to explain that is just like, hey, dude, just turn off your screen. Just turn it off.
Like one time, Miss Britt with I'll say the company GoDaddy. There's some techs that are really good. They'll help you. We have a website builder that that they'll even sometimes do it when they're not supposed to do it. But there's one guy, so I don't know if he was, the language barrier or if he was just being an ass. But I told her there's a button that we had to click on to upload what I need to do. And so I called. It was okay, he got on my website. He goes, oh, just go and click on the green button. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I can't see the screen. My screen reader doesn't see it either. Oh, okay. And he goes, okay, go to the left and to the right corner, and there's a green button. Click on that. And in my head, I'm like, is this guy joking? I go, sir, I can't see the screen. I'm blind. Oh, okay. Just do this. Go to the top, and just go down to the left, and then there's a green button. I'm like, is this guy messing with me? What the hell, right? So, I'm not sure if it's the language barrier or he just, I don't know, man. It's
just not the inability to even comprehend, the fact that you can't see. I mean, to me, that's exactly what that sounds like, and it's not uncommon. I mean, again, myself personally, I mean, I grew up in a sighted world. I had perfect eyesight until I had my accident.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't comprehend what it would be like to not have that vision, because
yeah, right.
We're so dependent upon it, for everything that we do, I mean,
like Brittany, you don't use a cane, do you, Miss Britt, or do you?
Oh no, I have to use a cane. That would just be very dangerous.
Okay, and come on, guys, let's keep it 100 in this conversation. When I say the white cane, there's a reason why I asked Miss Britt that question, because I heard already recently of two people here, where I do my work, that people like, oh, I don't really need it. Like this one guy told me that he's embarrassed to use it outside his house. He didn't want his neighbor to see him using the white cane. And then he had gone to a friend out of town to visit a friend, and they went to a bar, and he almost fell because he didn't have his white cane. And in my head, I'm like, hello? I'm telling you something. If you don't have a white cane, you're going to hurt yourself.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, I know denial. I get that's a phase. I understand it. I've been there, Miss Britt, and we've all been there.
Too, like, okay. And I think it's, for me, like, since I've been blind all my life, and I know you have too, George, it's not using the cane and then using the cane. I think it's a psychological mind fuck when people treat you differently. Exactly. Like, it really messes with your head. Like, I don't like the way I get treated with my cane sometimes.
No, you're right. You're right. You're
And
right.
it's just the certain people and their again lack of empathy or whatever, lack of understanding, that causes them to treat us in a different manner, But
And you know what, Mr.
uh,
Davis, I'm glad you corrected me the other day. I was saying the word ignorance, but you said it's lack of awareness, and that's a very good way to put it because ignorance in itself it's like a bad word, right? When you say ignorance, it's a negative connotation. But when you say lack of awareness, that brings in a whole lot, different discussion regarding how to outreach to people, let them know that we're blind or visually impaired, and we need to certain accommodations. It's just unfortunate that sometimes people associate. We've had this discussion before. The associate our blindness with dumbness or can't hear or can't walk or you can't wipe your butt, and those things don't correlate, right? They don't.
right, that
Just
not
because
at
I'm
all.
blind, yeah.
I mean, just because we're blind, that doesn't mean I mean, again, for the majority of us, but just like the rest of society, I mean, there's always a potential for an underlying disability, but I mean, the obvious disability with us is what? Okay, we can't see. 9 times out of 10, that's all. The only thing we're dealing with is we can't see. I mean, do I have an underlying disability? Yes, I'm going deaf. Okay, so that old myth about you lose your sight and now you develop super hearing, you develop super smell.
I thought I
That
thought you got Mr. Davis. I thought you were gonna say your underlying disability. You're a Democrat. Sing
well,
the drum thing. Anyways,
well,
Miss Bray, let me ask you: when you have your cane,
Hmm.
do they treat you different? Like what you said earlier. I want to give examples so people can understand what you mean because I've been there.
Okay,
I've
I
been there,
think
right?
just some examples, like okay, like let's just say I don't do this anymore. Really, thank God, thank you, online banking. But the rare occasions when I do have to go to the bank, they always are like, "Oh, here, let me send you over to the ADA station, and you could sit down." Or like, I remember one time I was at the bank and I was just waiting in line. It was a really, really, really long line, and somebody just randomly comes up to me and just gives me a chair, and I'm like, What?" or just for instance, like I'll just be walking down the street and somebody will come up to me and they'll say, "Are you lost? Do you need help?" And I'm like, and I always wonder, like, okay, does my face look lost? Do I am I Is it my body language or is it just the cane? Just things like that. Or for instance, whenever I have to call customer service, let's just say my router's not working and I called Spectrum or whatever, and the person is like, "Is the light blinking?" And then I tell them like, "Oh, I'm blind, I don't know." And then they start talking to me like I'm a complete idiot.
Mm. And you know what's funny you said about the chairman, Brit? That I told this to Mr. Davis. So I don't know if blindness is associated with laziness or maybe just my fat ass. I don't know. So I noticed it the first time we went to a lens crafter. So I went with my wife and we're standing in line because she had to adjust her lenses. So I'm standing there and the guy walks up to me. "Oh, sir, here's a chair." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I go and sit down. It didn't click right. And then we went to a bank to do our taxes because the bank here in El Paso they do the taxes for free. So we're standing there at the counter, and the lady goes, "Oh, I'll be right back." When me and my wife walked up to the counter, and she walks up behind the counter behind me. "Oh, here, sir, here's a chair." I'm like, okay, that's two. The last time recently we went to check our tires, so we're standing there, they're checking their tires. We're buying tires, and the guy walks up to me. He goes, "Oh, come in the office, sir." Me and my wife. Okay, so go in the office, and it's cooler in there too, right? So we're standing there. He goes, "Oh, here, sir. Here's a chair." And in my head, I'm like, "What the hell? Why, why did the chair equate to blindness?" So of course I let my wife sit on the floor, but no, just kidding. She sat in the chair. But the point is, how did the chair? Why, if we're blind, we need a chair. I mean, I don't mind it but
I think
still.
people are afraid we're going to get hurt and then they're going to get sued. I can understand that as a business owner. I believe that there's a lot of people who might feel that way, like, "Oh, shoot, let me get this person a chair so they could sit down, be safe, and then they could leave, without any issues." I mean, because to be fair, I've taken out a couple of wet floor signs or whatever. And,
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I've done
or
that.
like, oh my gosh. Okay, so one time I was going to like, I think it was like an Applebee's or a Chili's or something. And at that time I had a guide dog. So I'm walking and the dog, there was like a plant outside of the restaurant, right? And my dog runs me into the plant because it was like coming out into the sidewalk and it was face length. So I smack right into the plant, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, the dog didn't smack me into it hard. And so I rework it. So when you rework something, you put your dog in a sit, you show the dog that, you know, hey, you ran me into something, and you go back a couple of steps and you do it over again. So the dog knows, like, hey, don't run this person into things that are face level, right? So I do this, and I guess the owner or the manager or whatever sees me do this. They run outside with their clippers and they cut down the branch.
Are you serious?
Like that really happened. I don't know. It's just funny to me. I think a lot of people are just afraid of getting sued, and I get that.
No, you're right. You know, now, you know what's funny you say that, Miss Britt? Now I understand why they do that. Now I get it, because one time when I was in the hospital, my wife goes, "Oh, you're wearing yellow shoes, yellow socks." And I guess other people were not wearing yellow socks. I'm like, okay. So getting it to on the bed, and then I'm gonna get up to go to the restroom. And they starts going beep 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 the bed. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? So the nurse comes in. She says, "Oh, you need to go to the restroom?" So I go, "Yes." I go, "Why is that alarm?" She says, "Oh, because you're a fall risk." I'm like, "Why?" "Because you're blind." I'm like, "Oh, hell no." So I go, "You know what? Let me talk to the charge nurse." And the charge nurse comes in and I go, "Look, ma'am, I'm blind. I understand, but I can walk. I have more full mobility, and the restroom's right there. I know where to go." She says, "Well, yes." I go, "Look, let's do this. Make it easier, right? Take the alarm off, or I'm going to go home. I'll discharge myself, and I'll put it back on you guys because you're the one." And no, they took it off. They took the alarm off. But come on, I mean, I get it, but if it's a flat surface and I don't know, it's like anybody else, I guess. I mean,
I think they just don't want to get sued, and I think people are ignorant. Like, okay, a couple of years, a long time ago, I sprained my ankle, and normally they give people a boot and they give them crutches, and they did not want to give me crutches because I was blind. Like they just the the doctor was just like, you're blind, how are you going to use them? I don't want to give you these. And I'm like, well, I still need to, like, walk around my house or whatever. Like, I don't use my cane in my house. And I was trying to explain that to them, and they were just like, no, we are not going to give them to you because you're blind. And I think a lot of times they're just scared.
Do you know the other day when I went to the doctor, they did not want me to sign my paperwork?
what?
They told me because I'm blind, I can't. Me
Oh yeah,
signing the paperwork is not legit because I can't read the paperwork before I sign it.
yep. I've heard that. And by the way, before Luis Roman is
Yeah,
working is watching.
yeah. Okay. What up, Luis? That's the brother from Indiana.
Oh,
Wow,
okay.
we got people from everywhere. Well, it's the half of the hour, guys. We should play the commercials and whatnot.
Let me get there. I'm
Oh, there
sorry.
you go. Boom, ba, da, boom, boom.
But while you're looking for those, Ed, you guys, youcanegive.org. Can you imagine not having a cane, George?
I know. No, oh, please trust me. I know. Yes, ma'am. That'd be terrible.
Okay. Well, George cannot imagine having his cane. So you can give. What they do is they go to countries in South America and Africa, places, third world countries where people cannot get canes, and they give canes to people who can't give them. But that's not all, you guys. That's not all. They also give them a digital recorder with instructions on how to use the cane and how to repair the cane. And these digital recorders are solar powered. So if these people don't have electricity, they can just put it out in the sun and boop, they're good. Then they can listen to it and they can use their cane. Like, this is life changing for people in other countries to have a cane. So youcanegive.org. You can go on their website. You can donate I'm pretty sure you can donate, or if you don't want to donate, you can get a shipping label and you can send your old beat up raggedy canes. You got that cane that you haven't used in years, it's all scuffed, or it's missing a tip, or the cord is broken, whatever. Just send it in. We'll refurbish it. Well, not we, but Jimmy will refurbish it, and he will send it to he won't send it, but he'll go and he'll give it to somebody who really, really, really needs that cane.
Miss Britt, and before you go any further, that's what people don't realize is, what? Can't get a cane? What are you talking about? Or what do you mean? That have no light? Folks, and I want to say this again. I live 4 miles from a third world country. There's people in Juarez, folks, 2024, that don't have a cane. There's people in Juarez, folks, families, 2024, that don't have light. They literally have to steal it from their neighbors. There's people live in cardboards. Okay, so when Britt says that and Mr. Davis talk about the cane, that's a life changer, because think about this: if you want to walk down the store, just walk to the front steps or whatever, you don't have a cane. I mean, come on. I mean, it's for us easy to order from Amazon or like, there in California, probably have a lighthouse for the blind. But there's folks out there.
Here, you can just call the light or the NFB and they'll send you a cane.
Exactly. But imagine if you have no light and you have no. I mean, so I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Britt.
I mean, but again, people don't understand. Third world countries. Oftentimes people with disabilities in third world countries, they're considered outcasts. They're shunned. They're considered useless. You know what I mean?
You know how here, guys, we should talk about advocacy and how, you go to a bar or a bar anywhere. There's accessible restrooms. You go to the streets, there's curb cuts all over the place. Guess what, guys? In Juarez, if you're in a wheelchair, wish you luck. There ain't nothing out there like that.
You look like they got a curb.
no joke. Yeah.
So, but to carry on with what Brittany is saying is, again, Jimmy does a lot of good work. He goes around to all these third world countries. He's trying to do everything he can to put canes in the hands of people that wouldn't normally otherwise be able to get a cane. So again, everything we can do to help them, whether it's donating our old canes, beat up canes, broken canes, maybe donate a couple dollars. If you want a little something for your money, Jimmy also offers, canes. He offers canes accessories. So again, you can go down there, you can get a little Bluetooth speaker to hang off your cane. You can get a light to put on your cane. You can have your cane, decorated any way you want it, whether it be your favorite sports team or as Brittany say, bedazzle it, putting all the little rhinestones on it, look like you got diamonds all over your cane. I mean, all I carry is custom canes. I met Jimmy way back before he started You Can't Give, just because of the custom cane side of it. And that's all I carry right now. I think I got 5 or 6 of them that I rotate. They all, I got one that's solid gold. What do I use that for? Well, when I'm going out somewhere special. Look like I'm carrying a rod of gold, right?
Did you say that you got speakers or add a speaker?
Yeah, it's got a little Bluetooth speaker. You can hook right on your cord and.
Oh, hey, that's good for us people here in El Paso. Go the cholo going down the sidewalk, but boom. They're like, where's the car at?
You can walk down the street bumping if you want to.
That's funny.
But anything that you do with Jimmy, I mean, he's got a wide variety of canes, whether they be the graphite Ambitex. He's got now aircraft grade aluminum canes. He's actually getting ready to send me a cane that's an all-terrain cane. He wants me to test drive it for him. So, wants me to give him a review for it. No problem, my brother. I'll take it out and beat it up and see what it do. But again, all of that stuff that he does over there, all the proceeds from the custom cane with a K, all those proceeds go into You Can Give.
And that's customcane.com. And the other one is youcangive.org.
Exactly. So if you can help out, please do. Like I say, you can get at them, you can get at us. Either way, you know what I'm saying? If you got canes you want to send in, You can send them directly to him. Like I said, free matter for the blind. You can send them to us, free matter for the blind, whatever the case may be. We'll make sure Jimmy gets the games. He'll make sure that they gets into the hands of the people that truly need them. So anyway, I'm going to move on to the rest of these commercials, and then we'll finish up our conversation on the other side.
Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
That didn't work out right.
I guess we're restarting the show. Okay.
I love it. Well, Tisha said good morning. So good morning, Tisha. I hope you're having a beautiful morning. And Luis Roman said that, people are ignorant, and that's his experience dealing with people in regards to the conversation we were having earlier.
All right, I'm going to try this again, y'all.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
Have you ever considered experiencing the world as a visually impaired person does? Take a walk in our shoes and take part in activities such as crossing railroad tracks, using accessible crosswalks, operating a computer, and washing dishes, all while blindfolded. Discover the unique and wonderful aspects of our lives. This event will have vendors, food, and other workshops. The Blind United Walk a Mile in My Shoes Challenge, sponsored by Service Center for Independent Life. When October 12th in Claremont, California. If you're interested in attending or tabling at our event, please email info@blindunited.org or call 909-532-9513. Now back to the Coffee Time crew. You're cordially invited to Blind United's Spooky Evening on Saturday, October 26th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Veteran Foreign War Post 2070, VFW, 825 South Magnolia Avenue, Monrovia, California, 91016. Cross Street is Chestnut. Come and enjoy a fun, spooky evening with games, a costume contest, and Halloween treats with friends and family. 825 South Magnolia Avenue. Cost per adult $25, children $5 to $13, $15, children 4 and under free. The meal will include hot links and a grilled chicken sandwich, chips, potato salad, soda, water, and cupcakes. A cash bar will be available. Door prize drawings will be held throughout the event. Deadline to turn in money is Thursday, October 10th, 2024. You can sell your money to Blind United Incorporated at blindunited2022@gmail.com. All children must be accompanied by an adult to the restroom. For more information, you may contact F.A. Chandra Howard at 909-774-6290 or Cheryl Thurston at 909-821-9589. Background picture of a scary pumpkin. Color is orange.
I just happen to think we might need to have some hot dogs there for them little kids instead of hot links.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe some hot dogs would be great.
You know what, Miss Britt, talking about, we always talk about X or Twitter or whatever it's called. What's his name, the owner?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, he, instead of spending $45 million on the Republican Party, why don't you spend that to improve your app? Come on, because I don't know if you saw, folks, or heard the other day when he interviewed the POTUS 45 or 46, 45 or 46?
5.
45. they had technical difficulties. And I'm like, hey, bro, sitting at 45 million, why don't you just fix your damn app? But the thing about
Remember,
the spooky
45
stuff.
a week or a month, if I
Oh,
remember.
$45 just real quick, folks. So Elon Musk is going to give $45 million a month for the next 3 months. So that would equate to what, $130 million? Dude, invest it into your products. Seriously.
I mean, I think he did fire his accessibility team, but I remember from that interview that you're talking about with Trump, he said that he fired a lot of his employees that work for X. So that's crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure these people were important. I don't think he realized, hey, these people are important. I think one of the analogies that Ed always uses, like, okay, a Rolex, it has lots of moving parts. And if you take out a teeny tiny part, it's going to stop working. All the parts are important.
You're right. Yes, ma'am. You're right.
So that's that. And Michael
Every gear is a.
J.O. Phillips said hi.
Okay, how you doing, Mike? Those are friends up in Morro Bay. But again, I mean, they the $1 million question is: did the technical difficulties make Donald Trump sound like Daffy Duck, or was that just him not having his teeth in or something?
Well, it's kind of funny. Now the tides are turning regarding. Remember a month ago, guys? A month and a half ago, the big deal was, oh, Biden's too old. He can't talk. He can't think. He can't do this. Can't do that. Now, the latest poll or a poll they did, according to TYT, the Young Turks on YouTube, at one point he was plus 30, Trump, in regards to his competence and.
Actually, it was 31.
30, okay. Now it's negative 30.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, when you go into politics, and I have a little history on this regarding politics, you talk about policy, not personality. Like he keeps saying, like the other day, oh, I'm prettier than Kamala, and I'm smarter, I'm this, I'm that, and even his own internal campaign people are like, you need to focus on policy, right? And people are saying maybe he's doing this intentionally to lose the vote. And like, for example, when he went to what was it, Georgia, he he was going after his own Republican governor, and he's a very popular governor there in Florida. And then if you notice, Britt, I didn't see the whole or hear the whole Trump and the interview on Twitter or Twix or whatever they call it. So whatever they call it.
X.
He was saying X. He was saying, "Well, Kamala, she's one of those people from California. How'd she say it? She's one of those California, or she's from California." So, and in my head, I'm like, you just insulted the whole state of California, idiot.
Yeah, we don't care.
I mean, maybe he doesn't want to win. I mean, he is 77, 78. I mean, he should just enjoy the rest of his life. And not only that, but I've read some things that say maybe he has a little bit of dementia, or Alzheimer's.
But he's always had it. It was just that he was kept to focus on Biden because Biden was 3 years older than him, but now his opponent is 20 years younger than him. So,
and what really pissed me off when you hear it again, kind of. So they played that clip of McCain. And he goes, I think this is the 2016 campaign, and he was saying, "Oh, and McCain, yeah, he's a POW, but you know what? I don't like people that get caught.
right.
I like people." And I'm like, "Wow."
Well, I mean, same thing that he just said the other day. I mean, where the Medal of Freedom that is given to the civilian, it's the highest medal you can give to a civilian. Has a lot more status than the Medal of Honor, which is given to war heroes.
Or to paraphrase, you said because those people are shut up or dead.
Right.
I'm like, wow, really? Okay.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, dude, he has no empathy for our folks, and man, in my opinion, I'm being honest. If you signed up and go. I don't care if you go overseas or not. If you're sign up and do your civic duty within the military. I mean, I'm sorry. My opinion is you should get a gold card as far as all your medical and stuff is concerned. I mean, as far as your education is concerned,
I met this guy one time, Mr. Davis. Sorry to interrupt you. I met this gentleman one time. And of course, I couldn't see him. And we were talking, and I'm blind, and I'm blind, I'm blind. So when he left, my mom actually at the time, my mom goes, she goes, Mijo, that guy that you spoke to, he has no eyes. I'm like, what do you mean he had no eyes? He goes, I had no eyes. So I got to see him again there at the VFW. So I go, hey, what's up? We're talking, and it broke the ice and all that, right? So after a while, I asked him, what happened? He was in the tank, folks. In a tank. Part of the Air Force. And he got hit, the tank got hit by a motor, and his eyes went bye-bye.
Yeah.
Instantly. And he signed up for that. I mean, he signed up to go to war and volunteer. So when they come back, like Mr. Davis said, hell yeah, they should have a green card. Or not green card. A gold card.
I mean, again, that as far as, they should get whatever America has to offer. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that every one of them is, has the mentality to be an entrepreneur, but if they do, then they deserve special rates, just like they deserve special rates when it comes to getting houses and stuff like that. I'm not saying they should get all that stuff free other than medical, but at the same time, I mean, they should get a special rate, man. I mean, they gave up part of whatever, even if it was nothing but their time, they gave it up for the country.
And not only that, Mr. Davis, was PSD. Is that what post-traumatic disorder?
Yeah.
And they come back.
PTSD, yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah,
PTSD, you said,
Yeah.
post-traumatic stress disorder.
And so when they come back from war, and cause when I was at the post office, I met a gentleman, and he was telling me that he was back from war maybe a year. This is when Afghanistan and all that. And he goes, George, I still freak out if I hear something, and we don't realize that, folks, that they come back from war, especially if they're in war, and every day they have to make sure they didn't get shot or a bomb went off or someone's going to come out and stab them. And they come home and everything to us is normal, but to them, they're still having that thing in their head. Like, is somebody going to shoot me? Is a bomb going to go off? Because that's what they've been doing for the past 3-4 years.
Right.
Every day.
And they could be home a lot more time than that, but it's still embedded in them. I mean, I've had friends that were, they went to Vietnam and stuff like that. And we be, out hanging out in, in the streets or whatever, and the car backfired. Man, they literally hit the ground.
My grandma, Mr. Davis, my grandma had to wake up my uncle. He went to Vietnam. She had to wake him up with a broom. Cause one day she walked up and woke him up to go to an appointment, and he grabbed her and started choking her, because that was just normal reaction, right? So after a while, she had to go to get a broom and wake him up that way.
Start poking him with a broom handle.
Yep.
I mean, it's sad, that people have to go through that, but I mean, again, man, death ain't pretty. It's ugly, and it does something to you inside. It's very traumatic. Especially when it's not in your nature to do that, but you get trained to be basically a killing machine, and that's your job while you're there. To protect and to kill or whatever the case may be. And it changes you inside. It really does. I mean, you need to decompress and, what they call reprogram yourself when you come back home.
So my uncle's friend was, when they're sitting around drinking beers, he was telling us that he was a gunner. He was in the Marines, but what he would do back when he was in Vietnam, he would carry the ammo, and this gentleman, this big old guy, he carried the machine gun. As he's shooting it, my uncle's friend would load up the machine gun. They had like a little rolls of bullets. Remember the old Rambo movies? So they're in the rice paddy. So, when he's doing it, the water, So all of a sudden, the water hits him from ahead, from the top. He's like, what the hell? Why is the water hitting me from the top of my head? So he looks up, and the guy's head is gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. And
I
just,
mean, imagine living with that for the rest of your life. I mean, you got this man's brains all over you. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to deal with. So, and just to bring it all the way around, I mean, that's the most, tragic, what are we going to call that? A traumatic way for something to happen or whatever. But I mean, we got people right here in this community, you know what I'm saying, and in the blind community, that they've lost their vision due to some tragic, traumatic things, have happened to them, to where they lost their vision. Then, a lot of us will wonder, okay, well, why is it they don't get the mobility, or why is it that they got to have somebody with them everywhere they go, everything they do, whatever. Basically, it's because of the trauma that they suffered in the loss of their sight. Whether
well,
it's
in a way, it kind of happened to you, Mr. Davis. I mean, you went from fully sighted to that accident, and then now you're visually impaired for the rest of your life. Now
but I
you're
was
blind.
blessed. But I was blessed enough to where I did get my vision back for a while. I mean, I was legally blind, so rather than losing my sight instantly and becoming from being perfectly sighted to being totally blind, there was a transition there, but there's some people, like I said, they just went from being perfectly fine to totally blind. And, but then again, just, again, the hardest thing for me once my sight went away was because of what I've seen, that fear of being out there alone in the dark, and not knowing what can happen to you, you got to, some people can overcome it, some of them can't. Like you was talking about the guy you talking about. The reason he don't want nobody to know he's wearing a cane or using the cane is why? Because he thinks he's a victim now.
Exactly.
He's thinking, somebody gonna see me with that cane. They gonna know I'm blind. They gonna follow me home. And next thing I know, they're going to come in my house and rob me, and I can't identify them. Whatever. I'm a victim,
Well, let's go a step further, Ms. Britt. Let me ask you a question. When it comes to a female being blind and by herself outside, do you have any fears? I mean, obviously you do, but
I mean, okay, this is something that I tell people. I know that I'm blind, okay? Like, I know that if I'm walking down the street and somebody wanted to rob me, it would be nothing but a thing for them to do it. And I've just accepted that. I've accepted that, if something happens, I'm probably going to get hurt. Like, if I'm somewhere and there's like a shooting, I'm probably going to either get shot or trampled because I can't see. And I've just made peace with that.
And it's funny that you said about the shot. Nowadays, unfortunately, with active shooters, my wife last Saturday, she said 2 weeks ago, she signed up for active shooter training, and then she was, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't," because to me, unfortunately, if there's a situation like that, I'm pretty much toast.
And that's just what I've accepted. But I mean, I don't know if you or Ed feel this way, but I'm not going to let my blindness. I'm not going to live in fear. I still want to do whatever it is that I want to do. If something happens, and maybe it was just my time to go. I can't just be in my house and be afraid for the rest of my life. I mean, being blind all my life, being a female, I've been told by family members, what if this happens? What if that happens? And I have no control over what other people do. And I'm still going to live my life.
And you're right, Ms. Britt, because it's like me when I was going to move to California or to Dallas to get my new job, and everybody's like, "You're blind. You're going to go there by yourself." And then, like you said, it is what it is. Just because I'm blind, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to get that new job with going into the Department of Labor. Oh, hell no, I'm going to go. And if it didn't work out or something happens, hey, it happens. Right? I can't live
and that's the way I live mine. I mean, it just, yeah, I've seen a lot of ugly stuff in my life, and yes, it's possible some of those things could happen to me because, again, growing up in the city, urban environment, you can walk up on some trouble without even realizing it, so.
What Mr. Davis is not referring to that from the hood.
Well,
I mean, about the hood,
I'm trying to be clean about it. You know.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, the hood folks. Real quick on kind of when I transition to perceptions. People want to label us like, right, we're blind, we can't do this, we can't do that. But at the same time, just because we say we're from the hood or from the Vadio or we're from this or South Central or whatever, that doesn't mean we're a bad person, right? Just because I say I'm
A
blind.
lot of good people in the hood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen straight out hood cholos that are the most respectful people I've ever met. I'm like, wow. But with that being said, it's like me being blind and Mr. Davis and Miss Britt. Real quick. So one time we're organizing a Santa Claus party. Well, we call it a Santa Claus party. And I was working with a lady from the YMCA over the phone. So I invited her to the party. And she comes up, she shows up like, oh, George, she's asking for you. So I walk up to her, oh, hi, ma'am. I put my hand out. And she says, oh, you're blind. I'll never forget that way she said it. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Oh, you're blind. That means I'm not supposed to think? I'm not supposed to organize myself? I mean, just those words kind of stuck with me. This is many years ago. But the way she said it, I'm like, what did that mean?
Well, that's when that's when the next words out of her mouth is liable to be, that what is that one that you're what is where we say, well, no, we're an example. They say, what is it?
Oh, someone says, oh, George, Miss Britt, you're an inspiration.
Yeah, you're an inspiration.
I'm an example.
I get where people are coming from, but it is so weird. It's super weird. I mean, I had a lady one time, I was coming from class, I was in college, and this lady comes up to me and she's like, you are an inspiration for going to school every day. And there are days when I don't want to come to school and you help me go, because I'm like, if she can come every day, then I can come every day. And I'm like, this is weird. I don't know. I'm just a regular person. I don't want to be here either, ma'am.
And one thing I had an example too, not example, an occasion where someone walked up to me and they grabbed me and they grabbed my hand. Like, can I pray for you? And then I go, and in my head I'm like, okay. She was, if we pray, you might get your sight back. And I respect that. I get they're coming from a good place, but I'm good. Excuse me, I'm good with my blindness. I don't have to be, I don't have to be prayed for. I'm good. I'm happy, where I'm at. Now, if they felt uncomfortable, that's on them, right? But with me, I'm good. I'm good.
Can I ask a dumb question? Why do people who always want to pray for you, why do they always want to touch you? And why do their hands always smell weird? I don't, it's just an issue that I have. And another issue I have, men, I do not want to feel your face. Do not want to feel your beard. Don't want to know about it. Just had to put that out there. And Tisha commented, she said, thank you, Brittany. Thank you for helping. So, yeah.
So, whoa. Let's go back to you touching the face. What?
Yeah, like I've had people, like especially men, they're like, oh, you really can't see me. You really don't know what I look like. And I'm always like, no, not really, And I've had, people like, oh, do you want to feel my face? Like,
I thought they'd be saying they want to feel something else. Anyways, but the point is.
Well, I was getting ready to say on that note, ladies, I am more than willing to braille that body so I can figure out what you look like.
I mean, maybe men.
I'm
like
single,
that too.
so,
like, hey, I want you to know what I'm working with, but I don't want to know. Just,
I don't know. That's a weird one, Miss Britt. Because touching someone's face, I wouldn't. Well, I'm cool. I don't like cooties, anyways. But I don't know.
Well, you're a germaphobe, George.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna touch someone's face. I might poke their nose and boogers come out. That's nasty.
Well, if you're feeling their face, why would you stick your finger up their nose?
You might accidentally, I don't know, they might sneeze.
Yeah,
the COVID numbers are really high right now, guys.
Yeah, they are. They really are. I mean, they're I think my sister-in-law was telling my wife that in Dallas, where she lives in Grand Prairie, I forgot. Anyways, where she lives, she said that she's noticing a lot more people are wearing masks now. So yeah, it's coming back. Oh, matter of fact, Miss Britt, I'm glad you mentioned that. NPR, I think it was. So right now they don't track like they used to do, like hospitalizations, and so what they do now is they test the waters
Yeah,
for
I've
COVID.
seen that. I've read that. Yeah.
Yeah, and now that they're saying right now the COVID, the numbers in the water, I guess from the wastewater, is higher than it's been since July of 2022, or
Wow, that's
higher, the
crazy.
numbers of
Yeah,
concentration of
that's
COVID.
that's what I've heard. I mean, I think a lot of people aren't getting vaccinated anymore. They're not really keeping up with it, and I think humans, we forget very easily. So a lot of people aren't wearing masks. They're not using hand sanitizer. We're
No,
thinking that COVID is over, and it's
I
not.
carry mine. I carry my sanitizer, and I like I said, right now, thankfully, they're okay now. But at one point, I knew like 4 to 5 people that were sick from COVID, and they're getting better, of course. But what's different now than back then, Miss Britt, is back then there was no really treatment for it, right? There's like back in the 2000, 2000,
when it was
2020,
first getting started.
you know, it was different. Now they have shots, they have pills, so I think that's the big difference, thankfully, right?
Well, again, everybody need to protect themselves. Again, say what you will, but every time they come out with a different variant, I'm gonna go get that shot. You can do what you want to do. I'm gonna get mine.
No
Uh,
mask, no ass, guys. Protect yourselves.
I mean, again, and that's another reason I'm gonna get the shot because I have a respiratory issue already. So
Miss Britt, I just heard you repeat on Facebook. Did you say no mask, no ass?
Yeah, no mask, no ass. Protect yourselves, man. If you're gonna do that, protect yourselves.
Okay, that's a new one.
okay, well, no glove, no love.
Okay, that's a new one. Okay. I'm over here blushing myself, so just to let you know.
Wow. So, well, anybody got anything in closing? We are at the end of the hour, so
Tisha said that George is funny and George is hilarious. Oh, George is having his podcasting class on Thursday, right?
Is it this
uh,
Thursday?
I
Oh
believe
crap!
so.
I thought it was fourth Thursday.
Okay, maybe it's the fourth
Don't scare me
Thursday,
there,
but
Britt. I'm like, oh crap! I haven't gotten my.
okay, maybe it's the fourth Thursday, but you guys come out and support George for that. If you're interested in podcasting, if you want to know what type of equipment to get, come hang out with George. And then we're also doing his tips and tricks the fourth Tuesday. So come and learn some tips and tricks and whatever. And yeah, protect yourselves. No glove, no love, no mask, no ass. Just be careful, you guys.
I want to make a shirt like that. No mask, no ass.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
on that note, George, you got anything you want to throw out there before we get out of here, my brother?
No, I just hope everyone has an awesome day. I should be back tomorrow because I don't have no more customers might take the week off, so might be back tomorrow. But Miss Britt, how about you, ma'am?
Oh, before I forget, the fitness class is co-ed, so I know that we're supposed to be doing like a ladies' night every second and fourth Tuesday. But we've decided to let the menses come in if you all want to do fitness, or if you're trying to meet some ladies. There are ladies there. I don't know y'all's lives like that, but y'all can come in and hang out with us. So that's every second and fourth.
Oh, really? That's
Tuesday.
cool. You know what, Miss Britt?
And if you're a man too and you want to do makeup, like you can also come in
nowadays,
too. We're not
nowadays you never know, but you know what? I'm glad you'd be proud of me, Miss Britt. I started doing crunches in the morning now.
Ooh, what type of crunches?
Apple
Peanut
crunch,
butter crunch, peanut butter crunch, Captain Crunch with crunch berries. Yeah.
Anyways,
all that crunch cereal.
Yeah, Mr. Davis knows about that. So.
Yeah. So, but anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us today on this.
The hour went fast.
It did go fast. George, I want to know, when was the day that you knew you were Mexican? Since, Trump is saying that Kamala, she just turned black. So when did you turn Mexican? I want to know.
No, I'm still Italian.
That's okay. Everybody.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, how the cannoli? So.
All right. Well, let us know when you get ready to turn Mexican. How about that?
Right. Yeah. Or no. The next thing is Irish.
Okay. Well, either one.
You know what? People actually thought I'm Arab. I've had several people ask me where I'm from, and I'm like, what do you mean? They're stitching up from the Middle East, so
Well, you know,
maybe because I have a goatee and I'm bald. I don't know.
and just in case anybody out there that doesn't know me is wondering, I didn't turn black. I've always been white. So
I thought you were black, man.
I did. I thought he was black until
I
my
know.
mom told me he was white, and I just was like, "What?" Yeah.
Yep. He's white. He's blue eyes and blonde hair. And that's what I
No
was
way.
stunned to
I would
know.
have never. I thought when I first talked to him over the phone, I thought he was an older black man.
You know what? You know what I pictured him. If you could see Miss Britt, when you remember, Mr. Davis, remember the movie with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. What was the name of those movies?
I forget the name of them now.
There's a series of movies. There was like 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
But remember that scene where they're in a bar, and then Jackie Chan sits at the bar, and then the guy says, and then Chris Tucker walks in, and he goes, "What are you smoking?" And the guy goes, "That's an elderly man. He's behind the bar, and he's talking about marijuana." And then Chris Tucker takes the weed from him. I don't know if you remember that scene.
Right. I do.
That reminds me of that's how I pictured you, Mr. Davis.
I thought you was going to call me. I thought you was going to call me Jackie Chan when he went up to the bar. Talking about,
No.
What's up, my nigga?
No.
All right. Well, folks, it's been a lot of fun. As always, we appreciate everybody for coming in. Tisha, who else was down there, Britt? I know Luis was in
Tisha,
there.
Michael, Luis. A lot of people. So thank you guys. And Tisha said next she's going to be a white girl named Karen, and I'm all for it.
Oh, Lord, have Karen of all names, right?
We got too many Karens, Tisha. But if that's what you want to be, you know, it's America. You got the freedom to be what you want to be, baby. So.
Yeah, and I think Trump is insulting a lot of biracial people. So just piss off a whole growing group of people, Trump. With your
I just wonder
comments.
if he didn't have a Miss Britt. I wonder. I mean, and I'm not, folks. I'm not making fun of disabilities, but I wonder if he has an undiagnosed disability because he says stuff that normally is like, you know, because I've been told when someone's not acting properly, don't automatically think like, oh, what's wrong with them? There's this or that. Maybe they have a undiagnosed medical condition. And with Trump, man, the stuff he does and says, there has to be something there. I mean, I'm not trying to be an ass because he's this or that. I'm serious. There must be something there because normal people don't say that. Don't do that.
Well, you know what, George? I'm trying to get up out of here, but I'm going to close it with this one. How about this? You know, we talking about, you know, how we're doing folks are just, you know, blind young kids that are born blind. Their parents are doing them a disjustice by sheltering them and whatever.
Yes. Yes.
I think, you know, for people like Donald Trump that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, that their parents are doing them a disjustice by not allowing them to see what real life is all about.
Yeah, you got a
You
point
know,
there.
they're giving them this, you know, you're better than everybody else on the planet mentality, and they feel they can talk to anybody any kind of way they want to.
No, you're right. I didn't think about it that way. You're right. You're right.
You know, so I mean, again, you know, I mean, his daddy was worse than him. They tell me. I mean, you know, I don't know. I wasn't alive around when he was alive, but again, while I was around, I didn't know who in the hell they were. But
well, you know what? Just thought about something, Mr. Davis. It just clicked right now when you said that about his father and how he grew up and this and that. Isn't it the same? I'm talking about the current Donald, or I think his dad's name was Donald too, wasn't it?
no.
Okay. Anyways, so the current Trump, isn't it the same man when talking to Billy Bush on video said, "I could grab a woman and they'll let me."
That's him.
Wow.
He said, when you're a star, then you can pretty much get away with anything.
There you go. That means a lot. So anyway,
I think him and Elon are autistic, like, or something, because I've listened to a lot of stuff that Elon has done, a lot of interviews, and I'm just like, something is wrong with this man. Or maybe people are just so smart that they're crazy.
Oh, Elon?
Yeah.
You know what, they were saying that that he self-declared or disclosed that he has not autism. What's the other one?
Well, it's autism, but it's
Asperger's.
Asperger's.
Yeah, that's what they said he has.
Asperger's. I mean, Asperger's is autism. It's just it's just where you're at on the spectrum.
And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's just that sometimes when you don't process things as other people do,
Right.
and that's not a bad thing. It's just the way they
differently
are, right?
than other people do.
Exactly.
I mean, so it is what it is. But again, it's just we're all different. You know what I'm saying? We're all unique in our own way, and it has a lot more to do, than just our fingerprint. I mean, our DNAs are different. All of that is different. So, I mean, the more we learn to understand and become aware of one another, the better off we'll all be. But when you sit there and you want to divide, the rich against the poor, all that other black against the white, whatever the case may be, all you're doing the world a disjustice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in the words of the great Rodney King, can we all just get along? I mean,
they're right.
I mean, it's actually just that simple. If we could all just get along, we'd all be great.
Well, what the and I know we're going beyond our time, but the real scary part of all this, we say it's funny, it's ridiculous, the way he speaks or what he speaks of, but he has a following. That's the scary part. He has a huge following, and that's where we have to realize, people, that if he loses the election, what next?
Well, right. I mean, let me go here, George, and then we talked about this before. Again, folks, it's about knowing your history. These are the same bloodline of people, because racism is not, it's taught, right? So this is the same folks that hated Lincoln for freeing the slaves. These are their descendants, and they've been teaching their kids for generations all of this hatred, right? And so bottom line, these are that same group of people, where we want to call them redemptionists, where we want to call them, folks that do the Southern strategy, back in the day. The Democrats did start the Klan. Yes, they did, because back in the day, the Democrats of the 40s and 50s were the Republicans of today. Again, it's just knowing your history. That same group of people, these supremacists that think they're better than anybody else. They've been taught that hatred throughout their whole life. You know what I'm saying?
And Mr. Davis, I'm glad you're saying about the know your history, because let's go back real quick, right? I know we're all beyond our time. I'll say that again. Women, like you, Miss Britt, you're born before, was it 1916? You couldn't vote.
Yeah,
you're a woman. You didn't have. I guess they said that women don't have the mental capacity, so that tells us a lot, right? 1916, that a little over 100 years ago, a woman couldn't vote. Okay, then you go into people with disabilities, or I'm sorry, that's a little later. People, our black brothers and sisters, they couldn't sit. My mom would tell me stories, and my grandma, here in El Paso, and in California too, you couldn't sit in the same area where a white person was. You couldn't drink from the same, just because of the color of your skin. Isn't that so stupid?
It is.
I mean, just think about it.
But my point being, George, is that mentality that is following Trump right now. They see Trump as their last hope for redemption.
Yeah,
because it's "Make America Great Again." What do they mean by that? Like, when was America great? Was it great in the 50s when black people and white people were segregated? Was it great during slavery? When was it great?
You're going to get a whole list of different answers, because some of them want to say, okay, maybe it was in the 40s and 50s. Some of them will say it was before they ended Jim Crow. Some of them are going to say it was before women had the right to vote. The other ones are going to say it was before they ended slavery.
But Mr. Davis, so now I am going to use that word ignorance for this discussion, because this what we're talking about is ignorance. Is
It is.
what you said right now, Ms. Britt. You know, because a woman's I don't know what their mentality about not allowing women to vote. Okay, that's one thing. And then you go into, well, a black person, they can't do this, they can't sit in the same place, they can't be in the same school, they can't be in the same military. But yet, in Vietnam, most of the people, my uncle was telling me, most of the people that are killed in the beginning were black individuals. So, I mean, if you're going to say one thing, do it. But don't be hypocrites, too, at the same time, right? And the thing for me is, it's our Constitution was written in 1776, or actually ratified. At the same time, everyone was created equal. Yeah, right. Well, then clarify what's the 3/5 compromise. What is that about? People Google it if you know what I'm talking about. So I guess what gets me upset that these same people will talk about make MAGA, make American great again, and you ask them, they have no idea what they're just saying it like white power. Okay, explain yourself. What does that mean, white power, idiot?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
I
People
mean,
just say stuff.
I think these people, not all, but I think these people are scared. I mean, America is changing. There's a lot more brown people. There's a lot more mixed race couples. There's women working outside of the workforce. I'm pretty sure it's scary to these people. Oh my goodness, we're going to elect a woman. Masculinity is in danger. Like, these people are just scared because their life, the way that they know it, is changing.
And in
And I think
Mexico,
we need to be mindful of that.
a friend of mine was telling me the other day, Miss Britt, and it didn't really click. We were talking about politics, and he starts laughing. He goes, "You know what's pathetic, George?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Mexico, a third world country, voted a first woman president in this hemisphere. North, South, and North America and Canada. And here we think we're all sophisticated in the United States. We're the ones who set the trend. Mexico elected a woman and a Jewish woman. When that's Mexico.
Even Pakistan has had a woman prime minister. Like, what? Pakistan? Come on, y'all. Like,
Right.
what? But we really need to get it together.
It's crazy, y'all. It's really, really crazy. I mean, to the point of where we can sit here and talk about this stuff for the next 5
Mr.
hours.
David has an appointment, so.
Well, yeah, but
I do. I got a after this. I'm gonna go take my old man nap.
all right. Well, again, everybody, we appreciate everybody for coming in, hanging out with us. Hopefully, we didn't bore you with our conversation too much, and if we did, I apologize. If we didn't, I look forward to having you hang out with us again tomorrow. So on that note, everybody enjoy their Tuesday. If you're into it, have a taco for me today. All that good stuff. So everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.